Hi there, I am Sehajpreet Singh and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. This video is the first video of our series on Java and data structures. In this series, we are going to discuss all the concepts of Java programming language and data structures. If you have yet not watched the introductory video of this series on how you can get the max out of this video, you can do that by clicking on the I card above. So let's get started. Java is an object-oriented programming language. In this first video, we'll be seeing what is object-oriented programming and what did we use before object-oriented programming, something known as procedural programming. We'll see what is the meaning of both of these terms and how these two are different from each other and why object-oriented programming is better than procedural programming. So let's get started. So before object-oriented programming, we used procedural programming. Before we start with OOPS, let's try to see the difference between procedural programming and object-oriented programming. Procedural programming is also known as procedure-oriented programming. This is derived from structural programming. In structural programming, we divide our function into steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we complete these steps one by one. Now, what are these steps in procedural programming? These steps are functions. Functions are nothing but small bits of code to perform a particular task. Now, as we saw that we follow a sequence, so this follows the top-down approach. In such programming paradigm, the functions are given more important than the data. So the operations which we are doing on the data are given more importance. This is not what happens in real world. This is not based on real world. Then it is less secure because we don't have the feature of hiding data. Then if we want to add something in this sequence, it is a very tedious job. It is not easy to add data or to modify what we already have. Some examples of languages which follow procedural programming is C, Fortran, Pascal, Basic, etc. Now, when we were extensively working with these programming languages, we were facing many difficulties. One of them being we were not able to reuse what we have already written. We have to write the same thing again and again and again. We wanted to shift to a more modular programming paradigm. That is where object-oriented programming comes into scene. Object-oriented programming is based on real world. Anything we see around ourselves is object. We have our laptop, we have a mouse, we have a water bottle, we have a glass. Even we ourselves, we are objects. So we follow a real world approach in programming using object-oriented programming. Now, our program is divided into small parts known as objects. It has a bottom-up approach and we now focus more on data, not on the functions. We can hide data and hence our system is becoming more secure. Adding data or modifying the data we already have also becomes much more easier using object-oriented programming. Some languages which follow object-oriented programming are C++, Java, Python, C#, etc. Now let's see what do we mean by an object. As we already talked, anything around us or even we ourselves are objects. Objects can have properties and behavior. We store properties in the form of variables and the behavior or what we have to operate on this data is done using functions. Objects can be physical like a car, laptop, pen, etc. Or they can also be logical or intangible, the things we can't touch, like our bank account. We can't touch our bank account, but it is an object. So objects are basically real world entities. In object-oriented programming, objects are an instance of a class. So now what do we mean by instance of a class? First, let's understand what is a class. A class is a group of objects that have common properties. So we can say that class is a blueprint from which we create multiple different objects. Let us take an example. Let us suppose we have a class car. So this is our blueprint, and we can have different cars. We can have a BMW, we can have an Audi, we can have a Mercedes, etc. So now with each object has its own properties and its own behavior. The property of a car can be that what is the color of the car, what is the weight of the car, what is the horsepower of the car. The behavior of the car can be that a car can accelerate, a car can brake, a car can honk, etc. Now, talking in technical terms, a class can have fields or properties which we call methods, or behavior what we call constructors, nested class and interface. Don't worry, we'll be covering all this in our upcoming lessons. Now we said an object is an instance of a class. So we mean that we can create objects of a class. The objects of a class share the attributes and behavior what that class has. For example, every car will accelerate or brake. Every car will have a color and a weight. And there can be n number of objects of a single class.
I hope you understood the differences between these two and what do we mean by object-oriented programming, objects and classes. I request you to subscribe to my channel and press the like button if you like the video. In the next video, we are going to discuss about the features of Java. What are the features of Java which make it so important? That's it for this video. If you have any suggestions, then please let us know in the comments. Thank you.